Well, last night sure was something. Ever since the beginning of the summer of 2019, we the fans have been promised the potential of having one of the greatest playoff duels in NBA history. When Kawhi Leonard went to the Clippers in free agency, and then the Clippers traded for Paul George, they formed what many thought was a team destined to win the NBA Finals. Kawhi was the reigning Finals MVP, he was labeled by many as the best player in the world, and with this move, he was looking to further cement that notion with another championship run. However, I don't really think that Kawhi fully realized the extent of the move he made and everything that came with it, because as we look back now after the Clippers just choked a 3-1 series lead to the Denver Nuggets in the second round, we realize that despite all of the talent on the roster, a lot more goes into being great. LeBron James has understood what it takes to be the guy leading a team since his early 20s, and to put it simply, he's built for this. LeBron has been the best player in the NBA for over a decade now, and at age 35, that still has not changed. So before I continue into why that is and what went wrong for Kawhi and the Clippers, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The title of Best Player in the World is one claimed by very few players over the course of the NBA's history. Every player that held this crown was a fierce competitor, they were a leader in the locker room, and they were all some of the greatest players in NBA history. From the days of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, to Michael Jordan, to Kobe Bryant, all of these guys were not only some of the best basketball players we've ever seen, but they were also guys capable of leading the men around them and getting the most out of the team. Chemistry is one of the most important aspects of team sports that really does not get talked about enough, because leaders that bring their teams together and have everybody on the same page can outduel a talented roster that lacks chemistry in any matchup. LeBron James was the next in line for this title, and from a young age, he understood the role and embraced everything that came with it. The Cavaliers team he played with in his first stint may not have been the most talented bunch, but the camaraderie and the team chemistry was always on point, and that translated to on-the-court success because everybody played their roles around LeBron. They may not have won a championship that first stint, but they undoubtedly overachieved in many ways, including a finals appearance in 2007. Then, when he went to Miami and finally started to play with some quality talent, the finals berths pretty much became guaranteed, and from that point on, he would go on to make 8 straight finals appearances and take home 3 rings. LeBron haters love to try to diminish this achievement because of the fact that the Warriors kept beating him, but no matter what, this feat is incredibly impressive. This year with the Lakers might even be LeBron's biggest demonstration of his greatness yet, because he embraced a role completely different than any other he had in years past for the betterment of the team, and now is once again looking to make a title run. LeBron has always been one of the best passers the NBA has ever seen, but he wasn't ever really a point guard. The playmaking came naturally to him from the wing, but now that he's older, his game has matured to the point where his brilliance can extend his prime this far, because now that he's the primary ball handler and playmaker for the Lakers, he's able to orchestrate and bring out the best of a team lacking in offensive firepower. Anthony Davis has done well stepping into the go-to scoring role alongside LeBron, but don't get it twisted. LeBron is still the one that makes this team run smoothly, and he's the driving force of their success. To demonstrate, with both LeBron and Davis on the court, the Lakers outscore opponents by 8 points per 100 possessions, which is understandably impressive. However, when LeBron goes to the bench, lineups with Anthony Davis actually get outscored by 3 points per 100 possessions. Then on the flip side, when Davis is on the bench and LeBron's on the court, the Lakers actually outscore opponents by 9.3 points per 100 possessions. This is not to say that the team is better without Davis by any means, because the sample size does need to be taken into account, but what it does say is that LeBron's impact on the Lakers severely outweighs Davis's, and that kind of impact is what separates him from the rest of the league. Now regarding Kawhi Leonard, who over the last 2 years put himself firmly into this conversation with LeBron for best player in the league, he's obviously a phenomenal player who has the ability to produce on the big stage, as we saw last season in Toronto, but what he does not have is the leadership ability that LeBron has, and honestly, this entire Clippers team seemed to be lacking in leadership throughout the year. I said this earlier, but on paper, the Clippers were one of the most talented, if not the most talented rosters in the NBA, but talent alone does not result in winning at the highest level. Talent can win you a lot of games, but it can't win you the games. All season long, the Clippers had moments where they just seemed completely out of sync, and we were told to be patient and that by the time the playoffs rolled around, they would be clicking, but that proved to be a lie. Kawhi Leonard's personality is shy and quiet, and he's the kind of player that comes in, works hard, does his job, and produces, and every team loves having players like that who can cause no drama and give it their all, but those aren't the players that lead. Last year in Toronto, their leader was Kyle Lowry, who has always been the heart and soul of the Raptors organization since he arrived. Lowry's a charismatic guy who gets along with everybody, he hustles his ass off on the court and leads by example, he's highly impactful with a high IQ to make the right play when it needs to be made, and his teammates respect him for it. Kawhi was the best player on both teams, but the Raptors' chemistry last season was immensely better than the Clippers' chemistry was this season, and as a result, one team won the championship while the other flamed out in the second round after a humiliating 3-1 choke job. With this Clippers team, if Kawhi's not the leader, then Paul George sure as hell is not either. George is a notorious liar who always has an excuse for everything that goes wrong, and it was once again on display after the game when he claimed that the season was not championship or bust, and that they didn't even have enough time to get their chemistry down, and they also didn't even expect to win the championship. And I'm sorry, but that's nothing but excuses and lies, seeing as he literally said in a previous interview that he immediately expected to win it all when he joined the Clippers. If your best two players aren't leaders, then you have a problem on your hands no matter how many quality players are around them. Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, Marcus Morris, Patrick Beverley, Ivica Zubac, Landry Shamet, Reggie Jackson, and JaMychal Green are all very good role players to have on a contender, but altogether, they just couldn't figure it out. The Clippers will be back in the hunt next year for sure, but they've got a lot of work to do. The best player in the world resides in LA, but he goes by the name of LeBron James, and we were foolish to ever even doubt him in the first place. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below your thoughts on the Clippers meltdown and the Lakers' chances to win it all this year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.